Welcome to Caffeinated Conspiracies, where mysteries, conspiracies, and the unexplained come to life. Grab your favourite brew and get ready for a mind-bending journey through the extraordinary.
I'm Omar, and
I'm Glenn, and together we're your hosts as we sip on curiosity and explore the enigmatic.
In each episode, we'll dive deep into the unknown, unravelling tales of intrigue and shedding light on the secrets that have baffled the world for centuries.
we're not just here to tell you the stories.
We're here to question them, dissect them, and invite you to join the conversation.
So, brew your curiosity, prepare to be captivated, and let's embark on this caffeinated adventure together.
This is Caffeinated Conspiracies.
And we're your guides through the uncharted.
Grab your coffee and let's dive in.
In this captivating episode, we embark on a journey through the mysterious disappearance of the Mary Celeste and her crew. With the help of our special guest, we explore the eerie circumstances, puzzling clues, and enduring enigma that surrounds this ghost ship. From the open seas to the uncharted waters of speculation, we sip on our favourite coffees and dissect the theories that have emerged over the years. Join us for a maritime adventure fueled by curiosity and caffeine as we unravel the secrets of the Mary Celeste.
Did you say maritime or maritime?
I have no idea. We'll see how it comes out.
I'm not sure either.
If I have to re-record it, I'll re-record it at some point. But it's all good. So yes, welcome to this week's episode where we are looking at the Mary Celeste. Now, before we do start, obviously, we like to see who's on the show. And as I said in the intro, we do have a special guest on the show. And to be fair, all the special guests so far have, bar one, have been some sort of relation to me in a way. Actually, that we've had other guests, but like I had my sister on, I've had my niece on, and now I've got my fiance on. I've got Lizzie on the show. Lizzie, nice to have you on the show. People who have listened to season 2 will have probably recognised her voice as that background voice that says something and does some fact checking for us on certain episodes.
I'm calling it. She's our official fact checker.
She is, and now she's at the forefront. She's on the microphone. How are you doing, Lizzie?
I'm good, thanks.
It's weird because I don't call you Lizzie. I don't call you Lizzie at home, and it's
freaking out a bit.
This is going to be really weird.
Yeah, I mean, I am his actual fiance. I'm not paid to say that.
She's not an AI generated model.
Or anything. No, Glenn does
Paid
actually
actress.
have a fiance. Yeah, normally I do fact check, and it was like an accidental role. Because of the time of night that you film is usually the time of night that I'm in bed reading. And I just sort of popped up and been like, actually, wait, that's not right. I say fact check, it's normally, Glenn, you can't say that. Glenn, edit that out.
Yeah, it's only because you can only really hear my side of the conversation. You don't hear the rest of it until I'm sat here doing the edit.
I feel like I'm...
So yes, people only hear the wrong side.
Hey, shut up.
I'm quite lucky in that. I listen to a lot of episodes first in the sense that I either hear them being recorded or I hear them being edited because Glenn edits them. So my views don't really register as official views because I won't listen to them on Spotify or anything because I've already heard it when you edit it. So I often listen to a lot of episodes first.
You do?
I don't know if that's a thing or a bad thing. Like...
What I'm hearing is you're keeping our viewer count down, or listener count.
Well,
Both.
technically not, because a lot of my friends listen to it.
Yeah, she has advertised a lot on a.
So for every episode you don't listen to, you promote to 6 people. Good job.
Well, no, because I do have a bigger social media following.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we know.
You can find me on Bookstagram.
But we'll swiftly move on. We'll go to Omar.
Wait, is that genuinely a thing?
Bookstagram, yeah, it really is. It's one of the most popular Instagram, TikTok. Well, I've got nearly 2,000 followers, which is quite little compared to some people, but well, it's bigger than YouTube.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, rub it in. Let's move on.
Yeah, but when I didn't share your episode, that goes out to 2,000 people.
Very good. That's true. Right, let's move on. Omar.
Welcome.
Omar, how are you?
I'm good. I'm here. I'm enjoying you being put down.
Yeah, it makes a change, doesn't it?
That is my official role.
Yeah. So I've got to ask, Omer, in regards to your research for this, where did it take you?
I watched a movie that
What
had
movie did you
nothing to
watch?
do with anything. The Mary Celeste, The Haunting of Mary Celeste.
Oh yeah, no, I've never seen it. I've
Came out
heard of it.
2020.
Yeah, I've never watched
It was
it.
all supernatural stuff about like a blip in time and space where people disappear and evil things came through. And then when I watched the movie first before doing the research.
So, Omer, you were sat there thinking, "Wow, this is based on a true story.
This is gonna be fun," and it wasn't. Like, I should have done the research before watching the movie.
Definitely. I mean, I tried looking for a few
Mistakes were made.
documentaries. I tried to find a few documentaries, but there weren't as many as I thought there would be. And unfortunately, I didn't get a chance to watch any of them. But I did do quite a fair bit of research. Granted, I've done it the night before, but I already knew quite a bit about the Mary Celeste anyway. The Mary Celeste has fascinated me, and I think this season we've done a lot of shows that seem, a lot of episodes that seem to have piqued our curiosity over the years, and it's great that we've managed to get them. Now, Lizzie, where did your research take you?
So, I can't lie. When I agreed to do this episode, I thought it was a different ship.
What ship did you think it was?
I thought it was Henry VIII's ship that he'd named after his daughter, and it actually wasn't. I thought they were one and the same ship.
Is there a conspiracy
By the
about that
way.
shit?
No, but I thought there was. I thought this conspiracy was to do with that ship and that they were the same ship. So it was like all new to me. I was probably glad I'd done the research and didn't just come out
Just we're sat there like going, "Get completely the wrong ship." Lizzie's come. Lizzie's come on to talk about the Titanic on the wrong episode. That's a sore subject. It's a sore subject. Lizzie was meant to be on the Titanic episode, but obviously in season one, Dave had already chosen it before Lizzie had, and was unfortunate that she couldn't get on season one.
But I'd say she was a little salty about it.
Just a bit.
Yeah. Oh mate, you're not the one who's got to deal with the consequences this evening. I am. So please don't take pun intended. Don't rock the boat. So
don't think that ship.
that ship has sailed. That ship has sailed. But yeah. What I have noticed is now we're going to have a running thing going on every season where we have an episode about a ship. Because last season we had Titanic and this season we've got the Mary Celeste. We've definitely got to have a ship episode in season 3. just to keep going with the theme.
Or season 3, you could do the longest ever ghost ship, which they believe was floating unmanned for 60 years.
Yeah, I've heard of that.
On land. What?
No, unmanned.
Unmanned.
Oh, unmanned. I thought you said on land. I was like, that is impressive.
It's gone missing for 60 years.
It's a ship from Pirates of the Caribbean.
By any chance, is it called the Flying Dutchman?
I mean, it would be good. It should be now.
Well, let's get into this episode, because obviously this week we are talking about the Mary Celeste. And like we do every episode, I'm going to go for a bit of the story and a bit of the research that we've had before we get into the fun side. So, and the Mary Celeste was built in Spencer's Island, Nova Scotia, and launched under British registration as Amazon in 1861. She was transferred to American ownership and registered in 1868 when she was acquired by her new name, and thereafter she eventually sailed until her final voyage in 1872. The ship began its unfateful voyage I can't even say the words here. The ship began its unfateful voyage on November 7th, 1872. It sailed with 7 crew members, Captain Benjamin Spoon Briggs, his wife, Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia. The 280-ton ship faced rough weather for 2 weeks to arrive at Azores. Am I saying that right? Do you guys know?
Azores is how I read it as well. That's how it looks
Azores.
Yeah, I didn't double check the spelling of it.
Azores.
Azores. It was here that the ship last log entry was recorded at 5 a.m. on November 25th. From this point, nobody knows what happened to the ship to this day. There are many theories ranging from piracy to deadly water sprouts, alien saucers, and the
Spouts,
presence...
Is it spouts or
Spouts?
is it? You said
Water
sprouts.
You said sprouts.
Did I say
You
water
said
sprouts?
I was
Okay.
like,
Somebody was saying... it's just another ship at the side of him throwing Brussels sprouts at the ship.
That's like some Moana or something like that, isn't it?
That
Some
is
little
the
people.
kids'
the
nightmare.
coconuts, yeah.
Honestly, the kids would hate that. Just somebody lobbing sprouts at them. Can we do that? Can we just lob sprouts at them and see what happens? We'd have
I
a
think you
mutiny.
should do it. Do it as an
I am
official
gonna
test,
fact
just to
check
see
you
if they
though
leave.
for a minute, Glenn.
Why?
For what?
Because it was 1885 it last sailed, not 1872. Like I said, I've done more research for this than I have my uni work that's due next week.
Oh, the boat last sailed, yeah, but it disappeared in 1872.
Yeah, but then it was recouped, obviously, which I'm sure you're going to go into.
Well, we will. Yeah.
Then it was owned by somebody else, and it was last birthed. Is that the right word? I don't speak sailor, but in 1885.
Well, let's go into it. So, although many knew when the mystery surrounding it, the tale of this unfaithful vessel was popularised after the publication of Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's short story. The crew of another vessel called the De Gratia spotted the Mary Celeste 10 days later on December 5th, 1872. It was discovered adrift and deserted in the Atlantic Ocean. Per accounts, its mainsail was furled and its topmast sail was torn. And looked like nobody was controlling it. The De Gratia's captain, David Morehouse, was a good friend of Benjamin Spooner Briggs, the captain of the Mary Celeste. They had dined together a week before sailing on their respective ships towards the Mediterranean. Once Captain Morehouse recognised the ship to be the Mary Celeste, he sent his first mate, Oliver Devoe, to find if everyone on board the Mary Celeste was safe. The first mate recorded the location of the drifting vessel. I don't know how to speak nautical terms here, so I'm going to have a wing of it and hope for the best. 38 degrees 20 meters north. Is that right? Or is it 20 inches? It's 20 with like a little apostrophe above it.
Nautical.
I don't know. I always thought they measured it in knots.
Well,
that's speed. You measure speed in knots.
I'll go to the next bit then. So
Yeah,
I'll
that's
leave
what
that
I mean.
bit. I'll leave the north and west bit out of it because we don't understand it. So for anybody listening, if you do know what it was, please let us know because that'd be fantastic. It was roughly 600 miles from the coast of Portugal. However, boarding the ship was not easy. Despite trying to contact the crew, not a single soul appeared to pull in the sails. The strong winds, strong winds dragged the vessel, so it was still adrift, and the wind was pulling it basically. Oliver, can't even get his name right here. Oliver Devoe and some of the other sailors thought the crew must be suffering from an epidemic, so they might have become weak and sick. However, when they finally managed to climb on board the ship, they were shocked to find that nobody was on board. There was no signs of violence or piracy. Nothing was stolen. All the crew's possession and cargo was still in place. Everything was peaceful and quiet. The conditions of the ship that it was found in added to the mystery. And the bed, what the little girl was sleeping in, still had the imprint of the girl. Unable to find anybody in the vicinity, the De Gratia sailed about 800 miles to Gibraltar. A British court convened a salvage hearing, primarily focused on whether the crew of the De Gratia are entitled to payment for the ship's insurers. So obviously, the De Gratia was entitled to payment by the ship's insurers. Now, obviously, that is where it gets interesting, and that's the main but the story that we've got there of just the Mary Celeste. It does go on to sort of explain as well that, because it is one of the theories, and I don't want to go too much into it, is that the court basically turned around and said that there's nobody on board the ship because the crew of the Dei Gratia killed them, and basically wanted the salvage of the ship because they wanted the money. Now, obviously, that's one of the theories, which we will go into a little bit later on. Now, in the overall story, Lizzie, did you get anything else at all?
Yes, one of the pumps was disassembled.
Mhm.
And there was 3.5 feet of water in the bottom, and the cargo was intact apart from 9 barrels.
9 barrels, yeah.
Which goes to one of the theories that the barrels are leaked alcohol fumes and caused them to be poisoned. However, I don't think that holds much merit because the 9 barrels are made out of red oak, which is porous, so it tends to leak out, and the main hatch where the kept was closed, so they wouldn't have seeped out that way. Plus, there were no dead bodies, so if they had have had poisoning, there'd have been dead bodies everywhere, all over the ship. So I don't think that one will. They did eventually get some money, didn't they? But it was only a sixth, because
Of what they should have
even though
got,
they'd
yeah.
had, yeah, because even though they'd had 3 months of a court hearing, they were still without any witnesses, quite iffy about what had actually gone on. So I think they agreed, we'll give you a sixth of it then, as like a discovery fee, but we didn't get the salvage fee, which is, I think at the time, was a thing that if you found a shipwreck, you were entitled to the payment from the insurer.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the salvage would have been decent because it had all of its cargo. Well,
Yeah.
It was something like 50 grand, which at the time would have been millions of pounds.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even a sixth of that shouldn't be frowned at. But if you were
Yeah, but don't
thinking,
forget, you've got to split it
millions of
between the
pounds
crew.
worth of- yeah, like, so they did only get like a sixth of what it was actually worth.
Yeah. Omer, what about you? Do you get anything else story-wise from the Mary Celeste?
just same as you. The only other thing was like only one lifeboat went missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just like the whole crew, captain, family, got off on one lifeboat.
Yeah. Well,
Like-
again, there's theories in regards to that, which we will go into as well, a bit further in. And, I mean, this... I know obviously people are like, oh, we've solved it, we know what really happened, and this happened. They say that, but there's still
no solution.
there's still no evidence. It's all the evidence is circumstantial because it's speculation as to basically, oh, this is the more realistic answer, so this has to be the truth. And
No, I know the real answer. And I'll tell you at the end of the episode.
Are you going to say the same as Lizzie? Because Lizzie was like, I've been saving this one, and I know what it was. And I've got a funny feeling that you two are going to say exactly the same.
I mean, I've got like the silly answer, but there is obviously a theory that carries a lot of weight, which is like a realistic one based off evidence and things. But we don't want that one, do we?
See, I want to mention one of the theories from another episode, but knowing as to where this is in our episode sequence, if I give it away, it won't make sense because it's after this episode, and I don't want to spoil the episode, so I can't even give that answer.
We've already done Mothman. We know it was Mothman.
Well, but it was Mothman, yeah, Mothman, definitely. Mothman was there. Mothman drank the booze, right? The 9 barrels, he drank the booze, got absolutely
so hammered.
wankered.
He's like, I now need to save these people. Threw them in the water.
I need to save them from themselves. What he really saw was he looked in the ocean and saw his reflection and went, "What's that?" Swooped them up and flew off. We did say he lives on the moon, so
that's where they all are. All the crew of the Mary Celeste are on the dark side of the moon.
And there you go, solved it. Thank you very much for tuning in. Lizzie's been a fantastic guest. We'll see you on the next episode of Caffeinated Conspiracies. But no, like I say, this story has fascinated me for quite a while because I think we all are fascinated by ghost stories, especially ghost ships. And they've plagued history for so long. You know, they go back to the time of pirates. And again, if you've been listening into this series, it's another episode where we've mentioned Nova Scotia. Where this is in the sequence, I may be a bit out of sync here, because we are recording these a little bit higgledy-piggledy compared to how we record season 1. And we have done an episode on Oak Island, which is in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, no, this is literally
the episode
after. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. There you see. So, I mean, like I say, I'm a little bit lost here. I should have the list up on the wall so I can know where I'm up to with each episode, so I don't say anything wrong and what we have recorded. But again, it's another one of those episodes that's sort of synced up with what we've been talking about, and it's a little bit crazy that we've gone back to Nova Scotia. And I mean, part of me is thinking, does something happen here in Nova Scotia? Is there something going on? Is there something we need? Do we need to investigate this? Do we need a holiday to Canada, to Nova Scotia, and go and look?
I mean, I would take a holiday to Canada.
Titanic victims are buried in Nova Scotia.
There, see, there we go. Right, we are
Nova Scotia, capital of boat crime.
Shall guests include that?
There you go. No, Dave did not include that in his episode. He did, however, refer to the Titanic as the Fast and Furious movie, which I really could see Vin Diesel driving the Titanic, going, "It's about family," as he's, driving along. That was my Vin Diesel impression. It was crap.
Why did that sound more like Stallone?
It did sound more like Stallone.
Is it Rocky or?
He's driving the Titanic. I mean, overall, there is the saying as well, isn't there, about the Mary Celeste. It's as dead as the Mary Celeste in here. And that's because, obviously, when they got there was nobody on board the ship. And I mean, does anybody else find it a little bit weird that they got on board the ship, all their belongings were still there, the bed pretty much still had the imprint of their daughter, and it's like they did just sort of get up in the middle of the night, left everything in hopes that possibly they were coming back, or did something happen that they were abducted? They were sort of, did they have a mass delusion and jump overboard? What happened? That's the thing. And again, it's one of those ones that we still don't know the answers to. But what we will do is we're going to start going into the theories. But before then, we are going to take a very quick break.
And welcome back to the murky mystery waters where we climb aboard the Mary Celeste.
I mean, I'm not getting aboard it. It's nobody on it. It's a bit spooky.
Well, that'd be a good reason to be on it, wouldn't it?
Anyway. Glenn won't get on no ship anyway.
Don't like to see. The ocean scares me. We don't know what's down there.
It's sunken ashore right now.
I don't know.
Yeah, Liz mentioned it earlier. Like, it was the second
Celeste.
captain.
No, it's
yeah, it was insurance fraud, so he crashed it on purpose.
Yeah, it crashed it, and they couldn't sort of rescue it, and they left it there, and it deteriorated, and just basically became part of the reef.
So Mary Celeste is now a beach.
But
pretty much it's just a plank of wood now.
When it was rebought,
it's a jetty, really, for a beach.
When it was rebought after all this, wasn't JP Morgan involved? I'm sure I read or I heard that JP Morgan was involved. I might have been thinking about something else.
British showman, dude.
No, JP Morgan.
Oh no, sorry, that's Barnum.
Yeah.
You're thinking P.T. Barnum. P.T. Barnum bought the Mary Celeste, put it on show.
No, JP Morgan was one of the financer behind the Titanic, and ended up being sick and couldn't make it. Again, Mary Celeste and Titanic linking up here. I could be wrong. I could be completely wrong there. Omer doing a bit of research. I can hear him tapping away.
I'm like, I want to know.
My usual job.
I'm sure he has something to do with it, but Omer does do the research there and has a look. All I know is we still don't know to this day as to what happened to the crew. We don't know what happened to the captain, Captain Briggs. We don't know what happened to his wife, his daughter, his seamen. We don't know anything that happened.
To
his seamen on board the ship.
Men of the sea.
You child. You laugh at me for making. You said semen.
What I always find funny though, every time I've read this, right, his children are marked as part of the crew. Was he doing child labour?
Part of the ship, part of the crew.
I think it was his youngest child was 2.
Yeah,
And they
but
took
they
the
were
daughter
marked
with
as
them.
part of the crew. His whole family was
Yeah.
there.
But I think they did that for like more money. Do you know, like if something happened to them,
Yeah.
they'd be worth more as crew members than passengers.
Well, looking
I don't know if like employer liability was a thing then.
No. Well, let's have a look at some of the theories that are out there. So the ones that I've got, like I say, I've had a look at the main ones that we believe. So foul play. So obviously there was the investigation at the salvage hearing in Gibraltar. Believe that the crew of the Dei Gratia had somehow something to do with the missing crew from the Mary Celeste. The Attorney General, Solly Fold, he was called, who led the salvage hearing, assumed that Captain Morehouse and his crew kidnapped and murdered the crew of the Mary Celeste to salvage the ship and collect the insurance money. Solly Fold even suspected Captain Briggs might have been involved in the scheme. I mean, off that, and going off what we know, especially in regards to the insurance job that we suspected on the Titanic as well, Lizzie, we've discussed it as well. That we talked about the insurance job on the Titanic when we've watched the Titanic and we discussed it separately. What do you guys think of believability of that one? Foul play. Does anything jump out at you? Do you think, Lizzie, going to you first? What do you think?
I mean, it can't be ruled out fully, but at the same time, there'd have to be at least one, like, witness account of it. How are you going to shut up that many people on
A whole
your
crew.
ship?
I mean, when you're a
Yeah.
captain of a ship, it's easy to get a crew on your side because they already trust you with their lives
Well,
on a
I mean,
boat.
kinda. But I would have expected the boat to be more wrecked then, if it was foul
That's
play.
if they got into
Then
a
they
fight.
were friends. Yeah, they were friends, so they could have just.
If you're
willingly
assuming he
gone.
did it sort of like a poisoning method and just threw the bodies in the sea,
Yeah.
But don't
there'd
forget,
be no blood,
one of
proof.
one of the lifeboats was missing though. We could have at least slipped sleeping poison into all the food, put them in this rowing boat, and just set them, cut the rope, and let them go. And
No, because then that boat would have floated ashore somewhere, and we'd have
With
bodies.
bodies.
Well, he was 600 miles away from shore, so obviously it's been floating out
Yeah,
at
so
sea.
you cut the boat, so you've got plausible deniability to say, oh, they got away on a boat, but you just dump the bodies in the sea.
Maybe put a hole in the rowing boat and set it off because they never searched under. They searched the surrounding area, but they never searched under. And for all we know, he's gone, right, I've killed my family off, wife's gone, kids have gone, crew's gone. I'm going to split the salvage with my buddy. That's why they had that meal before they set sail. His buddies come on board the ship and killed him because he wanted the full salvage of it.
You're saying Captain Briggs was in on it?
Yeah.
And he killed his
he
own
could have
children
been,
and wife. That is...
Yeah.
What a new
Dark.
life. What a new life.
Well,
They could have took him with him. They could have gone into witness protection.
Divorce
Well-
divorce wasn't as easy back then.
but to kill your children too?
It happens.
Huh?
Not saying it doesn't.
Then he was
happens
very
today, doesn't
highly
it?
thought of. Yeah, and they interviewed a lot of people who knew him, and he was incredibly highly thought of.
Well, his
which
whole
is why
family
they
were like
found it
sailors, weren't they? Because his dad
so
was a
unbelievable.
captain. Like 2 of his brothers
Yeah.
were captains. Like they were a big maritime family.
Maybe he just had enough and he just wanted a break from it all. And that's why
You ever wanted to be a sea captain? I want to go, mate, have a chippy.
he's chipped in with his mate and he's done one. He's changed his identity and moved somewhere where they don't know him. He's chucked everyone off over. Hey, there you are. He chucked everyone off overboard. He got the rowing boat and he did one.
He wanted a new life. Where? Portugal.
Anywhere.
He just borrowed it.
Yeah.
Jack Sparrowed it.
He is the reason we had Edward Kenway in Assassin's Creed. There you go.
What if he was Edward? No.
There you
The
go.
timeline doesn't work. This is after
Yeah.
the American independence, so it wouldn't work.
I mean,
Kenway was before.
I mean, like I say, that's a theory. The theory's there, but Lizzie, on a scale of 1 to 5, what would you give the theory of foul play in regards to the De Gratia crew killing everybody on board, or at least the captain killing everybody on board and him doing a runner?
I would say a 3 because it's not completely impossible and it's feasible.
Mhm.
But I would
It's probably the
expect
more
there to be
realistic
more-
one. It's probably the more realistic one.
I would expect there to be more evidence.
Maybe it was
Of
just
foul
really,
play.
maybe it was
Or
really
the fact
good
that
at
you
hiding
wouldn't
it.
settle for a sixth of the cost. If you were going to do that, you'd want all or nothing.
Yeah,
You would keep pushing, wouldn't you?
yeah, you would.
Yeah, you wouldn't. You'd be like, I just
That's
killed
actually
like
if you
a
don't.
friend and his family. I don't want a sixth of what you're willing to offer me.
Maybe if he
Exactly.
pushed, though, maybe if he pushed, then you would have been made more suspicious. And he thought, right, take what I've given, because now that
No, because it wasn't that much of a
heat's,
win.
yeah, but heat's off him now. He's got something. It's better than nothing.
But now you've got a crew that you've got to tell, oh, I promised you, like, 50 grand to be shared between us. Now you're only getting a tenner each.
That's their fault. He can kill them next. Take them on his
But that
next
didn't happen
voyage.
I'm sure that would be on the news. Like, oh, the De Gracia's crew's gone missing now too.
Omer, what do you give the theory?
So, this theory, and there's two others which I lumped together because they're all the same theory from different angles. There was
Alright,
this
we'll
one,
we'll hear them in a second. Let's just go off this first one that I've done, and then we'll add yours into it.
It's the same theory because the other one was literally what Liz said about the mutiny of Briggs being in on it.
Okay.
And it was a mutiny on that side, and they just come and saw the aftermath.
Okay.
But both of them, just because it doesn't make sense with the amount of money they got away from, the lack of cargo. I mean, if the cargo was missing, and like say Briggs was still on the ship,
Yeah.
like he could have claimed like better insurance from it. Or if you were going to run away to make money, like wouldn't you have taken the cargo?
Yeah. There would have been more money within the cargo salvage than the ship salvage.
Yeah,
And-
you'd
and, like,
have staged
the
it
alcohol
to
in
make
those
it look
barrels.
like pirates.
Yeah.
wouldn't
And the
you?
alcohol in
Like-
those barrels was pure ethanol, which could have been like diluted down into literally anything you want.
Yeah.
So I'd give it a 1.
Okay. For me, I'm probably the same as Lizzie. I'm about a 3. I like the idea. I think it's very plausible. It's very realistic. But you know me, I like the fun ones. And
Boring, innit?
it is. It's just very... He sort of wraps everything up into a neat bow that we don't like on this show. We do like the mystery. We do like the wonderment. We do like to think that Mothman came down from the moon and took them.
He came to save them. He knew a disaster was coming, and he came down. He saved them, took them to the moon, and kept them alive. There is
What
a
he
colony.
doesn't know is
on the
he
moon.
was a disaster. Well, everyone that's gone missing over the period of history, and it's just always been Mothman just taking them to the moon.
Yeah.
It's a transformer.
As he picks them up, he goes,
Mothman is Optimus
goes into
Prime.
a rocket and flies off.
Yeah, man.
I mean, if
Tell ya.
you put Optimus Prime in the dark and put wings on him, I mean, I can
Yeah,
see
you
it.
know.
They're about the same height. About the same height. Let's look at this one then. So the other one is about the alcohol. Not only was it... There's quite a few different ones in regards to the alcohol. There was an explosion with the alcohol. That would explain why the 9 barrels were gone. But if there was an explosion, surely there would have been more damage to the boat. So... There's another theory that focuses on the ship's cargo. The story goes that some of the barrels may have leaked noxious fumes, a theory supported by the 9 empty barrels found aboard. These fumes may have built up, causing a small explosion, or at least causing the ship's crew and captain to fear an explosion. It's possible that Briggs ordered a temporary evacuation so that all the souls aboard could sail to the lifeboat behind the Mary Celeste while the vapours cleared At the same point, their tow line may have detached, leaving the lifeboat behind while basically everyone watched the Mary Celeste drift away, leaving them alone and helpless in the Atlantic. We know the Atlantic Ocean's freezing. So if they're out there, they've literally abandoned ship, jumped onto this little rowboat, and because they're worried that the fumes could have caused a problem. It would explain why everyone's left all their personal belongings behind. It would explain where the lifeboat went. And, you know, they had the idea that they were going to go back. But, like it says, the rope came loose. All you know is that he's woken up the crew in the middle of the night and someone's not tied a knot properly. It happens. I don't tie my shoelaces properly when I'm half asleep. It happens. I mean, I know it's a bit different to a ship knot. And, you know, and I'm not saving my life with a boat.
You are such a catch.
I know. You are so lucky. But I mean, it's one of those ones. What do you guys think of that one? Have you heard any more on that one that you want to add to it at all?
Don't make sense.
I just didn't. It didn't make sense because how many was there? There was 10 people on board, right? I think that's right.
I think
That's so his family.
I had 7. I had 7 on board.
7 to 10.
Yeah,
7 to 10.
Yeah.
And they all squeezed on one lifeboat and just drifted behind. And if you'd have done that, you would have at least tied a rope to the boat so you could then pull yourself back in.
Well, they did, but the rope came loose.
But these are sailors. Unless they let the 2-year-old do it, I don't see.
Like I say, they were tired. They'd been drinking. One of them's cracked open one of these 9 barrels and started drinking it.
No, because
realised that the alcohol was not good. No. They shouldn't have been drinking it because it was really.
The alcohol would have genuinely made you blind. It was like pure alcohol.
Exactly. He was blind. He was trying to tie a rope. He tied the rope, just not on the boat, and threw it.
You're a seasoned captain. Drunk or not, you're not going to let the drunk sailor tie the knot.
He didn't know he was drunk. He was very good at acting. I'm drunk right now.
Would have been absolutely Larry's FPRF and all, Glenn.
Yeah, I'm absolutely sloshed right now, and I'm fine.
It's like, I don't see, like, a seasoned captain with, like, a family of sailors letting something like that happen.
Don't forget, though, they're in the midst of panic as well, so they are trying to...
But you got to imagine,
No fumes were reported in the logbook.
That's true.
Yeah.
And it was a very rough sea with, like, high winds. So, yeah, all right, the fumes could have vapored off. But they would have at least noted that they'd smelled it in the logbook. Well... realistically.
It's a very good point. I think with this one then, I don't think it's like the last one where the last one had its merits and, you know, it had cause behind it and it was very plausible. This one sounds interesting, but there's no proof, there's no evidence, there's nothing to back up the statement. So in regards to that, taking all that into consideration, Lizzie, what would you give this on a scale of 1 to 5?
Nothing.
I don't think we've had a 0.
There's not been a 0 yet, no?
No.
And I've said some stupid things before.
Yeah.
So this
I'm more likely to believe that it's Optimus Prime with him than I am
Mothtimus Prime.
Mothtimus Prime.
Mothtimus Prime. There you go.
There you go.
But I'm more likely to believe that than I am this.
Okay. Omer, what are you giving it?
No, this one's like the same as the other ones. There's too many like holes in the theory, so I gotta give it a 1 as well.
I'm probably with you guys. Give it a 1.
I'd say one after 0.
All right, I'm with Omer then.
Don't take my uniqueness away from me.
I know we allow Shannon to give 0.5s. We've allowed Lizzie to give a 0. We're a little bit too nice to our guests. We give them everything.
No, didn't we let somebody give a 6? Somebody's give a 6.
Was it Jamie when we talked about the movie? You know,
it might have been.
God knows. We'll find out.
There has been a 6 before, so we broke our own scale once.
To be fair, I'm pretty sure at one point you gave a score to 2 different theories in the same theory, and we overrolled it as an 8.
Oh yeah.
So
that happened too.
Another one is obviously hazardous sea conditions cause a few problems. Man overboard sort of situation, trying to get the lifeboat down to save them, and obviously it was all hands on deck, kid and all hands on deck, but obviously the sea was too rough. They've all been knocked overboard.
Yeah. This is the most realistic theory. It's also what the documentary, the 2002 documentary, is based on. And that is based on the same author's book she wrote, published, directed. Even she, though, holds out and says, it doesn't account for everything. I'm still doing more research. I'm still, you know. And it's several things pulled together
Okay.
that they've done. Basically, the logbooks weren't the originals. They are transcribed. So they weren't the original logbooks. But the last logbook entry was on the 25th. Doesn't necessarily mean that's when they went missing. Just means that's the last time they wrote in the book. The whole journey apparently had been very hazardous, very rough. And when he did note in the logbooks that they were 6 miles off what he thought was Santa Maria, and they think that because of the rough sea, he basically redirected, and it was actually more off course than he thought because of the weather and the sea and stuff. And also, I could probably be saying this wrong, his chronometer was broken at the time, so he didn't know just how much water was in the bottom of the ship. So he made
And
an
with the broken
educated
pump you
guess.
mentioned earlier.
Yeah, the pump they think was broken due to the fact that before it was bought by the British, it was originally a coal ship, and they think that the coal dust had broke the pump. So they think that he made an educated guess because he's a very experienced sailor, was known to be a rational man, where he's basically said, leave all your belongings, we don't have the time. He thought it was more near land than he was. All piled in the lifeboat, and the lifeboat was unfortunately gone under. And as we know from the Titanic episode that I was not on, but I did watch the documentary. I did watch the documentary with Glenn. We were both very fascinated by this, actually, in that the conditions are rubbish for preserving bodies, and they just floated to the bottom of the sea, never to be found again. And that's, out of the two of us, I'm the more realistic.
All right.
I would say, Glenn,
All right.
in the sense that Glenn's fascinated by ghosts and things like that, and I'm like, absolutely not, because it freaks me out. But that's my favourite one, as a woman who loves history and science and facts. But do I want it to make sense?
There you go. We've got a hooked. We've got a hooked.
Do I want it to make sense? Like, you don't watch Unexplained Mysteries for the solutions, do you? But it probably is the most feasible one.
And they don't come to our podcast for answers.
But they don't. They don't want us for that. So
They'll have answers when we're done.
They come for the theories. They stay for the witty banter.
But yeah, I really like the weather one as well. Like, it makes the most sense.
It really does,
not
yeah.
only are people missing, which could have been thrown overboard, some on the boat, whatever, but the ship wasn't in pristine condition when it was found.
Nope.
The sails were partially unfurled, which you don't normally do.
And
it's like you've started to unfurl them and some of them are torn. There was something else. You mentioned it. The ship pump was broken, so they couldn't tell how much water they were taking on. The chronometer is basically like a navigation tool, so they didn't know where they were. So, a lot of things had gone wrong, out of their control, and going off the ship or falling off the ship makes sense. So you've got a ship where, let's say, you were hit by a water spout. Everyone else has been knocked off, and the spout's just ripping through your deck,
Sprouts.
being on the ship. Sorry, water sprouts. It's just a whirlwind of these green little balls hitting you in the
vegetables.
face.
It happens. It happens.
This is why children don't like them. The nightmares stemmed from the Mary Celeste.
Tune in to our Bermuda Triangle episode at the end of this season when we explore the depths of Brussels sprouts at the bottom of the ocean.
How they got there, we will put in there.
All will be revealed. I'm gonna have to email the guest that's on that show just to let him know that he needs to be prepared for Brussels sprouts.
Oh, he's got a lot to be prepared of. Oh. We've already talked about the Bermuda Triangle before.
We have, yes. That's on an episode coming later in this series. I believe it's our Loch Ness episode. A lot of it all ties together, much like season 1, where it did come full circle some way or another. So does this season. All by mere accident as well, by the way. It's never planned out. We just put an episode list together that we think looks good, and then we turn around at the end of the season and go, oh, it all ties together. So in regards to that theory then, Lizzie, what are you giving it out of 5?
I mean, I want to say a 5, but for me it takes a bit of, well, a lot of the mystery out of it, and a lot of that sort of fantasy, like, esque style of it. So I would say a 4, because I still want to believe.
But is it a high 4? It's a high 4.
Somewhat of a mystery element to it.
Yeah.
It probably is the most logical.
Yeah.
Especially knowing what we know now about the area, but however, she herself, the lady, McGregor, even herself, and she's wrote the book, the book that a documentary went on to be based on. She's even said that she's still doing research. There are still question marks over things that she'd like to explore more that she left out, which I'm really intrigued by, because I'm like, well, what else is there?
Yeah, it's not like they can't search the ocean now because, like you say, the bodies will be gone. If there was a rowboat there, that's going to just be destroyed.
Coming down the lifeboat.
Right, I'm confused. Why are you looking for the bottom of the sea? They're on the moon.
They're on the moon.
Mothman.
But yeah. So I would give it a high 4 on probability, but that part of me that loves a bit of intrigue is like, oh. Plus, like she said, she's still got other research to follow. She's still got evidence of other things that she's not quite explored yet, and I'm intrigued by that. I'm like, well, what do you know that you didn't fit in that book and that document?
Tell us now.
Yeah,
come on the show and tell us.
I won't tell anyone. Just tell me.
Come on the show and tell us. Tell the world.
I'll come back on and tell you. I would give it a high 4.
Omer, what about you? What are you giving it?
I'm with Liz on that one. I give it a 4.
Yeah, I think I'm
similar reasoning. Yeah. It makes the most sense, but yeah, it does take the fun out of it.
There's still,
I'm telling you, I know the real answer, so that's still to come.
I'm giving it a 4 as well. Now, let's go for some of the fun ones we've heard. Let's go to that. I read one. Get this, and it's my biggest fear: sea monsters. That it was the Kraken. It was the Kraken. Release the Kraken! That is one of the theories, is that there was a Kraken or some form of sea creature that attacked the ship, kept the ship in pristine condition, but managed to take off all the crew and literally killed them all.
It was a giant squid that was a picky eater. He's like, ooh, wood, no. Humans, yay.
He didn't want the beer, didn't want the ethanol.
Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy.
He came for the buffet. He didn't come for the bar, he came for the buffet. Maybe it was a pregnant squid. I don't know. Like, I am
pregnancy cravings squid, was just humans.
Maybe they were like, nah, can't drink, but them chicken skewers look real good. So... You never know.
Came for the beer, stayed for the feast.
There you go. You never know. I mean, I like, and there's completely no evidence of this whatsoever. I just, I'm a massive reader, and one of my favourite mythical creatures is a siren, aka badass mermaid. I I'd like to think that it's a siren that's jumped on this ship and just beckoned these people over, and they've all just jumped in after Demon Ariel.
It was a sea
Demon
cow.
Ariel.
Yeah, although I did text Glenn today saying
That was a manic.
aliens
What?
in it.
It's
Aliens in it. Like, that's just what I went
We'll
with.
go into that one, but let's score the idea of it being a mythical sea creature. We'll also include the kraken and a siren. Omer, have you got any other mythical sea creature it could have been?
I'm throwing the Loch Ness into this.
Damn straight, man.
On his way to
the
a
Bermuda
local
Triangle.
meeting. Picked up snacks on his way.
All will be revealed in our Loch Ness episode.
To sustain him for his journey up to Scotland.
Yeah, Nova Scotia. Yeah. Nova Scotia does mean New Scotland.
Or her journey, because admittedly I did fall asleep halfway through the Loch Ness Monster recording, so I've only heard bits of it.
Oh, you have so much to hear.
You need, there is some correction
from what I
there,
heard,
but you need to listen to the episode to learn the correction.
So, on a scale of 1 to 5, Lizzie, of a mythical sea creature, for just the fun side of things, what are you giving out of 5?
5.
Omer?
I mean, I was going to give it a 4 until a siren got thrown in there. That's a 5 now.
Badass mermaid.
A demon badass mermaid.
Yeah. But like, if that's not the two sides of my personality, I don't know what is. You've got the logic and the reasoning on one side, and then you've got badass mermaid on the other. And I really like that.
And remember, folks, this is just for fun, and I think I'm going to give it a high one as well. I'm going to give it a 5. I like that. I just love the fact that what I've got images of is a badass mermaid riding a kraken as Loch Ness Monster's going, "Go bitch, go bitch, go bitch" in the background, and she's like enticing them right to the edge of the boat. And Kraken's just like, "Yeah, this one's mine. One for Nessie, one for me. One for Ariel." There you go. Just chucking them around, playing with the food. It's like what's that? What's the thingy place called? What's
I mean? She entices them in, looking all sexy, and then turns into a big ass kraken.
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, you're thinking of anglerfish.
Yeah, but what's
like the thing with the light that the fish come to, and then there's big teeth behind it? There is a mythical creature that does the same thing. There is a mythical creature that has like an anglerfish thing where it's a woman on the end of the thing, and then it eats them.
It's a shark with a fishing rod.
Just a whale. Is it not just a whale with a lamp stuck on its head or something? Like
no, anglerfish.
It's a shark with one of those lighters that you tipped it upside down and the clothes fell off. That's all it was.
No, it's one of those things that you had as a kid. Those alien eggs that you opened up, and there was the alien with the springiness.
No, honestly, what I've got in my head is the Kraken getting the people on the boat and doing what are those restaurants where they do all the cooking in front of you sort of thing, and like throw the shrimp in your pocket and stuff like that.
They're like sashimi restaurants.
I can't remember what it's called. Well, the Japanese restaurants where they flip the spatulas and stuff like that. If any of you know what it's called, please let me know because it's going to frustrate me. I reckon that's what the Kraken's doing, is he's serving up the people and passing them out. That's what he's doing.
Why did you just make that noise, though? Oh, that was awful.
Omer, balls to the wall theories, you got any?
Oh, I got a few. One of them was actually not even made up by me. There was a dude in 1913. No, it was in a magazine. There was a dude who literally came forward and said he's a survivor of the Mary Celeste.
Okay.
And he was like, during a swimming contest, everyone drowned and got eaten by sharks. I was like, it was. The story was published in a magazine called The Strand Magazine.
Yeah.
When they fact-checked him, none of the facts added up, just to clear this up. So it was a fully fraudulent story. But
really? I never would have guessed.
That was just genius. It's like, it answers every question. They all got hammered so much, they went swimming with sharks and got eaten. But then instead of, staying on the ship, he took the one boat, sailed to the local, and be like, I'm not being a part of this. I'm not doing the cleanup.
Oh, hell no.
Just noped out on a lifeboat.
I mean,
Absolutely fucking not.
That wasn't even my theory. I was like, there was a crazy theory just sitting there.
why would you have a swimming competition in the Atlantic?
Oh,
Why did a 2-year-old get in there?
It was her idea. She had yeah, Daddy, which one of these guys can swim fastest? Oh, let's all see. Come on, let's go. Jumped in, and there's just this shark going, hiya, how's it going? I'm going to eat you. It just comes for them. One guy managed to survive.
Bruce finding Nemo.
Fish are friends, not food. Humans are food.
Humans are friends, not food meeting. And then in true Dorian Marlin style, they've met the anglerfish with a light bulb on its head.
I reckon the one guy this guy that's meant to have survived, he held the starter pistol and right, we're all going to jump in together. He shot the starter pistol, went to jump and went, no, I'm too scared. And then everyone jumped in. Everyone jumped in and he was like, ooh, that looks a bit nasty. I think I'll leave this.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Omer, what you giving that theory?
I just love the idea that everybody on the ship got convinced to have a swimming contest at the same time.
By a 2-year-old.
By a 2-year-old makes it even better.
So that's 10.
Maybe. I was going to say, maybe the 2-year-old was like on the back of the dad or the mum and just be like, yeah, go.
Just whipping them.
Well, a 2-year-old can float, but they're not really good swimmers. It wouldn't be having a swimming competition.
Very true, especially not in the middle of the ocean. So what are you giving that, Omer? What are you giving that?
Just because I know it's false, I can't give it the 5, so I've got to give it the 4. It's still fun.
Lizzie?
I mean, it's fun, but it's almost too stupid for it to be fun. Do you know what I mean?
So stupid, it got published.
Yes, but it was published in the equivalent of the Daily Mirror.
Exactly
True.
that.
Or the Sunday Sport,
Exactly that.
Or what you would have used to find in sort of Nuts magazine or Zoo.
I just think if someone's going to come forward and say that they were on that ship, they could have said anything.
Yeah.
They could have said that the other guys had swarmed them, they could have said anything at all that would have made better sense than we had a swimming competition in the Atlantic. After we'd had 7 days of rough sea, we thought that water looks like...
But it's not just
that.
that.
It can't handle a bubble, but it can handle us.
It's not just that. It's the middle of winter. Global warming is not a thing
November,
at this point.
exactly,
It's freezing, right? So
it's November.
Yep. There's icicles floating
Absolutely
around.
not.
You come out for a pee in the middle at night on board that ship, your dick's freezing. So, I mean, they ain't jumping in the sea.
No.
Jump in the sea. It's to wake you up. We don't know what time this was.
What are you playing, Kingdom Hearts? At the start of the game where you end up in the sea.
I'd give it a 2, just because it's fun. But at the same time, it's like...
Yeah, I'm sort of like a 3. I'm in the middle. I like it. It's funny. But there's also bits of me just thinking, why have you published this story? Surely you would have checked it.
And you're going to come, for all this money as well, or, the insurance or whatever, and claim you were on this ship and that. And that's the story you went with?
No.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Omer, any more theories that you've got there?
Besides the 2
No.
I want to hold, no. But I did read something funny about the Arthur Conan Doyle bit, because of him it got more popularized.
Yeah, it did.
And
Yep.
Yeah.
the funny thing about that was the US consul still, after being told it was a work of fiction, asked him what he really knew about it. I mean, he did write Sherlock Holmes, so I mean, he knows how to make people believe. So,
Hound of the Baskervilles, one of my all-time favourites. So, Lizzie, what about you? What theories have you come across?
I just had badass siren, and that on my own.
You got any?
I mean,
you got
other than
anyone?
like the feasible ones, I did read another mutiny one that it was two guys who were part of the crew because their belongings were the only ones to not be on the ship. However, their family confirmed that the week before they set sail on the Mary Celeste, they'd actually been in another shipwreck, lost everything, and that's why they took the work on the Mary Celeste. So I was like, it's not fun though, is it? Genuinely didn't consider Transformers a theory till I've been sat here listening to you two.
The lifeboat was a
And,
transformer. That's Mothman.
I can't lie, one of my favourite things about this podcast is how Omer links everything to aliens. I laughed out loud at the tram stop, hearing about him linking Jack the Ripper to aliens. That was my favourite theory ever. And
I've still
you
got
know
this
me,
one
Glenn, I'm
ready.
a
This one's happening.
massive history geek. Jack the Ripper fascinates me. It's one of my favourite episodes of yours, actually. But yeah, up until this point, now I'm Transformers and Mothman is more believable than we had a swimming contest.
Well, yeah, that's true. I've still got two things left.
Go on, Omer. Let's go for it.
Right,
This is
one's
why we
my
rely
own
on
theory,
you.
and then I've got the facts for you. So I'm going to give you my theory first,
Okay.
and then I'm going to give you the actual thing of what happened. So you ready for this?
I'm ready.
So my theory was I was very suspicious about the empty barrels.
Okay.
So I do believe they got off the boat and left it behind theory, but they were hiding something more valuable than what was already on the ship in the barrels. It wasn't alcohol.
Okay.
Oh.
Omer's just cracked this wide open, hasn't he?
And it was funny because we've done Oak Island, and there's a lot of stuff that was meant to be on Oak Island. And where's Oak Island?
Nova Scotia. Omer, you brilliant bastard! You've solved it. Not only have you solved the Mary Celeste, you've solved Oak Island as well.
I don't know anything about Oak Island, so I will be, and that's an episode I didn't fact check on. And Glenn's not edited it yet, so I'm as new to this as any other listener.
But Oak Island is like at the middle of every. Like the theories are that there's a lot of stuff there that's just gone missing over time, ended up in Oak Island, right? This is a ship technically on its way to Oak Island. Well, Nova Scotia anyway. And it had hidden cargo. Now, you're the captain of the ship. You've got 10 people. Like, what is it? He had 4 of them were his family because 2 kids' wife. And then 7 to 10 of you in total, right? You could take those 9 barrels, put them on the boat, get off it, and just live like in hiding and rich for the rest of your days. And probably your generations going down. Because whatever was in that barrel was probably more valuable. And that's probably why, when the investigation got done later, they only got a 1/6 of what they should have got for what was on the ship. Because the most important stuff was missing. But nobody wanted to admit it.
It's juicy.
Have you
It's
got
juicy.
any evidence? Because you've got
This is the
evidence.
issue. No,
If you had evidence, mate, we could write a book. We could write a book on this, right? Because we've got a theory here that could really play out and work. We could be rich.
Maybe that's what Anne McGregor's other evidence is.
Shit, we need to get her before she does.
You know what I mean? Maybe that's why she's like, I can't fully believe the logic. Maybe they both coincide. You know, like, oh, he was off course and he thought he was closer to land than he was. And he's panicked and thought, I better get this stuff off this boat because it's worth so much.
My mind is blown
Cinnabit.
right now. I'm genuinely blown away by that.
that was
For the first time ever, I'm like,
It would
what?
all make sense.
It would.
That would all make sense.
It's the only thing
And
that
if
kept
that's the
bugging me about
bit
it.
of-
It was like, Why
bit of
empty barrels
research
of
that she
what were
can't
meant to
quite.
be pure ethanol?
Yeah, she can't quite go into it yet,
Right.
so she's holding that back.
I say we get in touch with Rick and Marty Lagina on Oak Island, and they're doing their expedition looking for the treasure, right? We give them this
We make
theory.
mates with them.
Yeah, right. We all get together. We all get drink. We all have a couple of drinks. We all have a bit of a laugh, a bit of a joke. We go to Nova Scotia. We get a free holiday out of it. We go to Oak Island. We pitch the idea. We help dig for treasure, and we just get involved. And then that's it. And then we start recording this on Oak Island, and then the whole show just revolves around all that there and the treasure that's on there. Because we know, like, we already think that the Holy Grail's there. We already think that the Ark of the Covenant's there. Medieval Templar treasures there. See, we need to go. This is what we need. This is it. This is like this is it. We've solved it all. Everything can trace back to Oak Island and the Mary Celeste, and Omer solved it. Omer, who didn't even turn up to history at school,
Fell asleep
has
in one lesson.
solved the mystery of it all. Me and Omer got split up because we didn't do any work. Now look at us. Now look at us.
Babe, if I get a random babe, I've planned this trip for us. We're going away. Dead romantic trip. Oh, we're going to Canada. I'm going to think, great, we're going to Oak Island. It's a romantic trip at all. He just knew that he couldn't leave me at home.
Oh, what did you know? Omer's magically appeared here as well. What are you doing here?
Just already there.
Yeah.
With his little helmet on, with a torch on the front of it and a pickaxe.
You know, come on, babe.
No, my look, I'll show up.
Let's go.
I 100% show up. Helmet on, pickaxe in hand, and they're like, no, we got diggers on. It's like, no, this is for the picture.
If you like the bit in Zoolander, Omer just walking through the tunnel. Just in a white tank top. Coal on his face.
Indiana Jones.
I'm not gonna lie, Omer. That I have to give that a 5 because I love that idea.
I love it. I love it.
Does...
It would perfectly tie in to the logical one. Do you know what I said? I want to give it a 5, but it's just lacking that bit of mystery.
And there's the mystery.
That
now,
would
if
be that bit of
we
mystery.
had evidence of that honestly would be so cool.
Schmevidence, Glenn. Like, this is definitely conspiracies.
Good point.
Evidence
Good
is
point.
now.
We don't need evidence on this show.
I like it.
I like it. I'm giving it a 5.
Oh,
Omer, what are you giving your own theory there?
I like that one because it's the one that doesn't kill a 2-year-old.
Yeah.
That's a very good point. Very good point.
Every other one
has killed this kid. That poor kid.
Poor baby. Poor baby.
She just wanted to sleep, but she got woken up in the middle of the night and got told that she's going to go swim with sharks. When she was like, "But I'm warm in my bed. I've got my pajamas on." That's why they make you go swimming in your pajamas at school. In case you're on a boat on the Mary Celeste and your dad wakes you up in the middle of the night going, "Come on."
To go for a swimming contest.
We won't go for a swim, but I'm asleep. I'm in my fucking pajamas. I don't give a fuck if there's a brick at the bottom of the pool. You fucking go and get it. You threw it. I ain't getting in. Who's waking you up at 4
I like Glenn's theory that the reason they get you to swim in your pajamas is in case a boat goes down and you need to practice swimming in your night. That's really entertaining.
I just think someone watched Waterworld too much and panicked and thought, right, when the world floods, they all need to learn how to swim in the pajamas.
That solves the mystery of how did Glenn get Lizzie, because she finds his theories about swimming in pajamas fascinating.
That's
the glue that holds. That's the glue that's holding this marriage together. That is those kind of theories. That's what our love is based on.
Yeah. Omer, have you got any more theories?
No, I told you I've got the answer.
Oh,
the
okay.
official answer.
Go on then.
We solved it.
I have got to tell you that it is aliens.
Okay.
Not only was it aliens, but there's video evidence of it.
God damn. Do you have said video evidence?
I'll share you the link.
Okay.
They were unknown to us at the time, But what happened was aliens landed on the ship. They scared all the crew off the ship. The aliens then left, and it was left floating.
I mean, I'm a bit confused as to how there's video footage from 1873, but okay.
This is the best bit.
Aliens have the technology, Glenn.
Okay.
They do, because they had a TARDIS.
God damn it, it's Doctor Who.
It was the Daleks. Doctor Who genuinely did an episode with the Mary Celeste.
Is that the one with the black spot?
No, I think they're running from the Daleks in that one. Like,
what season was that? Which Doctor was it?
First Doctor.
First Doctor, right. I was thinking the Black Dot, because I don't remember really watching that episode all that much, with Matt Smith and Karen Gilligan was in that one as well. But I have just seen the video you've sent. I will have to look at that one. So, yeah, it's William Hartnell. He did it. It's all his fault.
Yeah, he was running from the Daleks. He landed on the Mary Celeste by accident.
I know you shouldn't speak ill of the dead,
Alex followed him. What, regenerated? Not dead. Don't speak ill of the regenerated. There's video evidence. We know what happened because there's video evidence.
Being a Doctor Who fan, that's 100 for me. We broke the scale.
Such nerds.
But would you have me any other way?
Yes.
Resoundedly,
yes.
I mean, I think we've had some really good theories on this one. It's actually been really interesting.
I mean, it has intrigued me. Like I said, I thought it was a Tudor ship.
You got the ship wrong, yeah.
Really like how
it's a much newer ship.
So
yeah, I like how it's generated a saying. If somebody goes missing, and there's no ideas whatsoever of where they are, like they've just vanished into thin air.
Yeah.
The police do actually say it's a Mary Celeste.
I mean,
it's a universal thing, and I find that fascinating. How these things can have such a culture.
Even to this day, after so many years.
Yeah.
I mean, it is one that is still at the forefront of a lot of people's minds. It is probably one of the biggest sea mysteries of all time, behind the likes of the Bermuda Triangle and things like that. You know, we still don't know what happened to the crew, if they did sink, if they did drown. There's no evidence, as we know from when we've watched documentaries on the Titanic, where they've gone down and you literally just see the shoes. But these people left the boat, leaving all their belongings behind. They've just got into a rowboat and done one, and we just don't know what happened to the rowboat. We don't know where they are, what happened, or anything. And I think that is the mystery of it all. Now, obviously, we do like to ask the question here, Lizzie. I'm not sure if you're usually awake by the end of the episode.
Freaks me out when you use my proper name.
If someone said, "I've got the truth for you, this is what really happened," would you want to know, or are you happy living in the mystery?
You know, for a fact, I'd want to know.
Yeah.
You know, for a fact, me being where I am, I would want to know.
You'd like to hold it over somebody,
I get frustrated when me and Glenn watch Unsolved Mysteries because you don't find out the answer. And Glenn will say to me, "Babe, the show is called Unsolved Mysteries. Why did you think? Tell us what would happen at the end of the episode." But I think it's just my mind, because the way I work, it's a special kind of tism, that I do want the well-rounded. That's the answer.
You need to watch the show Solved Mysteries.
Yeah, I am intrigued by
this week on Solved Mysteries.
What was in them barrels, because that would be great. I would hate for it to be a boring thing. Do you know what I mean, though? Of just a really simple explanation, which Arthur Conan Doyle tells us in Sherlock it usually is. But yeah, it does fascinate me. I can't lie. But I just want to know.
Omer, what about you?
I want to know everything all the time.
Yeah, Omer.
I'd tell you. I've got video evidence of what actually happened. Daleks were there. One of them fell off board as well. So if you look at the bottom of the sea, there is a dead Dalek.
It's just a Dalek sat there.
with the rest of the Mary Celeste crew just in the water too.
Chilling playing poker. Bottom of the ocean.
I mean, I think a Dalek should survive.
With a badass mermaid.
Yeah. And the Loch Ness Monster.
That's what you've got now. The Kraken as the bouncer to a poker game between the Siren, the Dalek, and the Loch Ness Monster.
And,
I mean, what a
and the
funny
crew
book
of...
would be. You should read that. I know for a fact you would.
Definitely, yeah.
I'm writing a book on this now. I love it.
That'd be a graphic novel, that would.
Yeah. But Omer, obviously, would you like to know?
Yes, on the Mary Celeste, just because there's not enough about it to tell us anything more. I do like the theories, and I think even if we got the answers now, the mystery would still stem other theories. The fact that it was unknown for so long. So this one, I think we can get a win with or without an answer.
You see, I wouldn't want to know. I love the fact that from this episode, we've had countless theories that have been fun, that have been funny, that have actually made you think that is a possibility, that sounds like that really could happen, to balls to the wall swimming with sharks. I mean, we've had so many different theories. At least 3 sound quite plausible. One that you come up with, and I'm like, wow, absolutely blown away by that. Knowing exactly what we've already discussed on this season so far, and it sort of ties everything up nicely there. I don't know. I think I'd like to live in the mystery because I think it's going to constantly keep giving you new theories.
The question is, and it's probably one that comes up a lot for you guys, like when you're doing your research for episodes or when people are posing new episodes, is not do you want to know, but do you think you'd ever know? And I think that's a fascinating one of, even if they came and they had concrete evidence, and we've had a very plausible theory, Alex, but there'd still be a question, like you said, there'd still be that thing of what is it though? And they could present it to you like A, B, C, D, this is the concrete proof, this is exactly what happened, and there would still be people going, it's been so long. And it is probably one of the less historical ones that you guys have explored in terms of you've done ancient ruins and things like that. Is we're more likely to find out what happened to Mary Celeste than we are, I don't know, the pyramids or whatever. But would you believe it even if you did get told?
Probably not.
Depends who's
That's
presenting it.
It's gone on for that long, I think, that people would still be like, absolutely not.
So the Mary Celeste crew is actually alive, and they're just outside the ice wall on this flat Earth. That's why we've not come across them.
Oh, they're on the moon with Mothman.
Mothtimus Prime.
Mothtimus Prime. But I think on that note, it is a great place to end this week's episode. Yeah. I do want to say thank you to Lizzie for being on the show this week. Finally got you
officially being on the show.
Officially being on the show. Not just the background commentator, and not just the voice on the intro and outro of the show as well. Yes, she is the voice. If you can recognise her telephone voice, and she does the intro to the show.
Oh yeah, her surname is The Voice. Her real name is Liz The Voice.
It is.
Yeah. For people who don't obviously know us personally, they know that Glenn's voice on the podcast isn't Glenn's voice in actual real life. Omer will back me up with that one. He's known him for a long time. He does do with like a show host voice, and I always take the mick out of him and say he's doing his podcast voice. And then when he asked me to be the extra narrator and we listened back to it, Glenn said to me, "Oh, you've got a podcast voice." And I was then worried about doing this. So I was like, what if I don't sound anything like my podcast voice? So yeah, it's been fun to come on in a more official capacity.
Well, you've done very well.
After me being left out of series 1. Thanks, Dave.
You can take it up with Dave. I
will forgive him because it's Dave.
And everyone loves Dave.
And he's always a very great special guest.
He is.
Because he always comes up with really fun theories.
But yes, we will leave it there this week. Remember, me and Omer do have a coffee page. You can support us on coffee from as little as just 50 pence. For our American listeners, like $1 or so, 75 cents, whatever it is now. And from just that little bit, it will help me and Omer grow our show, ready for season 4, season 5, where we want to start having video content for you, full video content, not just our little TikTok clips. We want to give you full content, but we can only do that with your support. We don't make it, but please do support the show because it does help us grow. We want to make sure that we are constantly giving you fantastic content and what we're working with. But again, to Lizzie, thank you so much for being on the show. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
You are welcome on any time, not just in the background and not just on the intro. You are more than welcome on the show at any point. And it's easier to get you on the show. We live together.
I mean, I have already suggested episodes.
You have.
Where I'm like, I am only suggesting this by the way. And I want this as a legal clause if I'm on it. Like, that's the only way. Otherwise, I'm taking credit for that idea and I will sue you. So I have already, like, mapped out season 4 and 5 of where I'm coming on for you.
But yeah, thank you so much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you next time on the next episode of Caffeinated Conspiracies.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this intriguing journey through the unknown. We've had a blast exploring mysteries, conspiracies, and the extraordinary with you.
If you've enjoyed our discussion and want to stay updated on our latest episodes, make sure to hit the subscribe button and share the caffeinated love.
And if you've got a conspiracy theory or an unsolved mystery and you'd like us to delve into it, don't hesitate. Drop us a line. We love hearing from you.
Until our next caffeinated adventure, keep sipping on curiosity and remember that sometimes the truth is hidden behind the most unexpected place. This is Omer.
And I'm Glenn, signing off from Caffeinated Conspiracies. Cheers, and until next time, take care, and may your curiosity never run dry.